All right, we are now live. Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us today during your lunch. This is a virtual workshop on the topic of home ownership. So for all of you prospective home buyers, for those new home buyers, and even seasoned home buyers can really find this outreach session really useful. And I will go ahead and introduce everyone. First, myself. My name is Angelina Romero. I'm the Director of Communications at the Cook County Assessor's Office. We have Teresa Chandler here, our Outreach Strategist, also with the Cook County Assessor's Office. And we have John Groney. He is with Neighborhood Housing Services of Chicago, and he is the Director for Neighborhood Strategy. So you have three experts here today that will be giving some really good tips about home ownership. I see that we have about 5 viewers. So I will, we'll just go ahead and wait just maybe one more minute, and then we will go ahead and start.
Sounds good. The music sounds great too, Angelina.
Wonderful. Glad you like it.
Yes, got a good beat.
Yeah. And for all of you watching, you can actually, if you already have a question off the top of your head that you want to ask us or in your mind, you can go ahead and drop us a question in the comment section. We will be answering all of the questions at the end live. However, we do have staff that's also on standby that will be answering questions in real time for you as well, if you can't stay the whole session. And lastly, we do ask that you share this presentation, because I'm sure if you find this presentation useful, there's probably others that have the same questions and will appreciate it. All right, we will go ahead and, Neighborhood Housing Services of Chicago says, hello, everyone. Excited to be a part of this conversation.
Wonderful.
Okay, now if I could stop the music. All right. And we will go ahead and begin. Let's see, add to stream. Okay, so we will begin. Again, this is our presentation on home ownership. So Home Ownership 101. So first, quickly, we're going to go over the responsibilities of the assessor's office, and then you will understand why it is important that homeowners, prospective homeowners, know about the assessor's office and what we do, because it does affect homeowners. So our responsibility is to set fair and accurate values for 1.9 million parcels of Cook County. So this includes homes and also businesses. And the value of these properties, it's not determined on an individual basis. So there's a huge misconception that we go out to every single home and assess it individually. We actually don't. We use a mass appraisal system to place value on properties in Cook County. And then the mass appraisal system is a way to put fairness into the entire assessment process. We also, in addition to assessments, we also administer property tax saving exemptions, and that may contribute to lowering your property tax bill, and we will go into depth over that topic. And also, it's important to know that tax rates and levies, they are set by municipalities and local taxing bodies. They're actually not set by our office. It's another misconception, but we will get into that as well. There are multiple agencies that make up the property tax system. We all sort of have a little piece and play in it. And then we have also nonprofit agencies and stakeholders that are also a part of it, such as Neighborhood Housing Services, that almost help and reinforce everything that we're administering and doing, and they specialize in helping homeowners. So the next, really quickly, so Cook County, for those of you who don't know, we actually use a triennial reassessment cycle. So what does this mean? This means that a determination of each property's fair market value and corresponding assessed value occurs every 3 years. So every 3 years, a property gets reassessed, not every year. That's another misconception. People think that their property gets reassessed every single year. That's not true. It's actually every 3 years. So it does sort of matter where your property is located because we divide Cook County into 3 parts. And you can sort of see here on this map how we divide it. So, and then we have the years listed out. So for example, this year, the north suburbs will be reassessed. So they will receive reassessment notices, and then it works in a cycle. And we just finished the city of Chicago. Okay, so moving on. So moving on to all the good stuff. So this is why we're here today. I also forgot to mention that it is National Homeownership Month, which is why we felt it was really important to do a presentation like this and sort of shift our focus for prospective homeowners. So here are some really good tips, and then I'll go over these in depth. And then Teresa and John also, if I'm going too fast, please, you can stop me, just raise your hand. I can see you, and you can jump in if you'd like. So first, it's really important to research the tax rate. So for those of you who maybe have a certain neighborhood in mind, a certain area in Cook County, it's really important that you do your homework, and you can actually look at the county clerk's website, and they have this really useful annual report, and you can check the local tax rates, because in Cook County, it's not just one blanket tax rate. It's actually each municipality has its own tax rate, and that really does affect your tax bill. So we'll get into that. And then also you want to research assessments in the neighborhood that you're interested in. And this is where the assessor's office comes in. So we actually release what are called valuation reports about every single township in Cook County. So you could access these reports from our website and really dig in to see what reassessments look like in the neighborhood that you're interested in. And the next part is to research exemptions you may be eligible for. So these are property tax savings. And then we will go ahead and show you the Cook County portal. This is a really good resource. If you have a property in mind, let's say you're looking at 3 different houses, you can actually obtain the PIN and do your research on each property. So we highly encourage that. So to go back, so you really want this, I really want to hone this in today. You want to search your local tax rates. And again, why does it matter? It matters because it will affect your property tax bill in the long run. And different parts of Cook County have different rates. So for example, I'm just going to throw this out there. Chicago, the city of Chicago actually has the lowest tax rate in the county. A lot of people don't think that, but they do. And I believe it's around maybe 6%.
Something like 6 point, yeah.
Yeah, 6 something.
Yeah.
Percent. So you can access this report. All the information is available at the Cook County Clerk's office, and they actually list by each municipality the tax rate. So like I said, it really does affect your tax bill, and you want to make sure that the property you're looking at, if you're going to be able to afford the property tax bill, because it's not just your mortgage, you have to actually factor in your property tax bill. So the next part, so this is what our office does. Again, we reassess properties in Cook County. So Cook County, we actually, for assessment purposes, we divide it into, they're called townships. So we release these reports on every single township that's being reassessed. So like I said, the north suburbs are being reassessed this year. So as each one gets reassessed, township by township, we will release valuation reports. And we also have past reports that you can view too, to really hone in on the neighborhood that you're interested in. So as an example, I think I put up here Lake Township. So you could find your specific neighborhood code that you're interested in. You can compare median, minimum, and maximum sales. So you can see how the sales are averaging in the neighborhood that you're interested. Then you could look at the assessor's model. You can actually see assessments. You can see averages. You can really dive deep into these reports to see how it might affect the property that you are interested in. And, this is an important one. So you want to check the exemption history on a property that you're interested in. So let's say you identify a house. all you have to do is actually a detailed search on our what's called the Cook County Property Tax Portal. And this is kind of where all of our agencies drop a lot of information in one website. It's very, very useful. You can actually access old property tax, past property tax bills. You can look at exemption history. You can look at assessment history. You can kind of find it all in one place. So if you have a property in mind, you can actually hit to do an advanced search by the address, obtain the PIN. Every single property in Cook County has a PIN associated with it. And you can see actually the last reassessment, when the property is rescheduled for its next reassessment. You could see the local tax rate. You could see the exemption history. And that's really important because, and I'll let Teresa jump in on this one too. She's really good at explaining it. But let's say you're buying the property from a senior citizen that may have had a senior freeze, and we'll get into these, but senior exemptions basically. So they were saving quite a bit of money on their property tax bill. So if a new homeowner is buying the property, they might experience these savings for 1 year.
Exactly, Angelina.
Yeah, because property taxes work 1 year behind. So the new homeowner would receive these significant savings for 1 year, but then they will drop off. And the new homeowner will have to reapply for any exemptions they may be eligible for. So it may look, when you first buy the property and you're looking at the tax bill and you're thinking, oh, this is good. I got it. I could manage this amount. But you really have to understand that it may just be exemptions rolling over from the previous owner. So I know that can be a little confusing, but
yeah, that's important, Angelina. That's really important because we have found out that some new homeowners have purchased homes, and the home that they've purchased was from a senior, and they did have the homeowners in the senior exemption and the senior freeze for many, many years. And so the agent didn't tell them that that's not going to be their tax bill, And so they factored they factored those numbers in which they should not, So yeah, and that's a good point that you brought out. Yeah.
Yeah, and I would just add, I can't emphasize enough how important this particular website is, the www.cookcountypropertyinfo.com, because we see that a lot as we're dealing with homeowners that are struggling with their mortgages, and seeing what the tax history is on your house is, and it says right there in the middle, if it says you're a first-time home buyer and it says the property currently has 3 exemptions, well, that's the homeowner, the senior, and the senior freeze, and those are not going to be your taxes. So a critically important website. Use this website all the time. Incredibly valuable.
yes. Okay, let me move on to the next slide. All right, so we'll get into the exemptions. So like we all said, the exemptions may expire from the previous homeowner, and then the new homeowner will have to apply for exemptions that apply to them. So these are the 8 that we offer. Almost everybody's eligible for the homeowner exemption. All you really have to do is live in the property. It has to be your primary residence. And usually everyone gets the homeowner exemption. So that's a given, but you need to apply for it. A lot of people don't know that you have to apply for it. Another popular one is the senior exemption, which is very similar to the homeowner exemption, just adds in an age factor, 65 and older. We have the senior freeze exemption. That's a huge one for seniors, and I'll let John kind of chime in on that one. We have veterans with disabilities. That's a big one for veterans. Our veteran community often utilizes that one. Returning veterans exemption, persons with disabilities. The home improvement exemption is a little bit different. It gives you a savings if you do any home improvements. However, the home improvements only count if you had to actually pull permits. So, and we apply it to your automatically. You wouldn't have, once you pull the permit, it kind of starts the process. So you don't have to apply for it individually. And then we have the long time occupant exemption. This one is a little tricky. A lot of people think because they've been in the property for a long time, which it's classified as 10 years. However, there has to be a significant increase in your equalized assessed value, and it's a certain formula. given to us by the state. And it usually tends to happen in neighborhoods that have changed overnight. So, like for example, I know areas in some parts of Pilsen get the long time exemption, but we actually mail out applications to those homes that are eligible. So, but you could always check with our office if you believe that you may be eligible.
Right. And I'd say generally those would be mailed in March of every year. I think this year it was April. But yeah, it's the long time occupant exemption is only your taxes have to have gone up quite rapidly over the last 2 or 3 years. And Cook County Assessor knows that you've owned the home for 10 years and your taxes have risen rapidly enough to hit the threshold. They just don't know if your household income's above or below 100,000, and that's why they send out the application. So if you get that application, you do want to fill it out and send it back in.
Yeah, exactly. And let me go to the next slide. Okay, a few more tips. So a lot of homeowners don't know this, but you actually have to, let's say you purchase the home now and you all of a sudden realize, I haven't seen my property tax bill. I should have gotten it in the mail already. You have to update your name and address on the Cook County Treasurer's website. So I actually have that website here. I thought I had it somewhere. Oh, here we go. So it's www.cookcountytreasurer.com. And you have to simply just update your name and your mailing address. And then you should still get a tax bill, even if your mortgage escrow account company pays the property tax bill. So a lot of people have it automatically deducted. They don't actually physically pay the bill. It's taken out of the mortgage account, but you should still receive a bill.
Exactly.
Right. And I think that's one of the mistakes we see new homeowners make is they're assuming that because it's escrow that the mortgage company is going to be monitoring the cost of your taxes and insurance. They're not. They're paying the bill that is sent them. And so, as a homeowner, you're going to receive, even if your taxes and insurance are escrowed, you're going to receive the first installment bill, which is the blue one that comes in the wintertime, and then the all-important second installment bill that comes in the summertime, and it's yellow. There it is right there. And so it's up to us to monitor our taxes and make sure we're getting the different exemptions for which we're qualified. The bank is not going to look at that. They're simply going to pay the bill that they receive. And, but really it is, if there's one thing you're going to check every year, it's when the yellow bill comes out, because that's where you'll see if you're getting your proper exemptions.
Exactly. Oh, there's an even better photo of it.
Oh, I love it.
Yes.
So right there in the bottom middle of that bill, it shows in that red box. And this, when we're working with homeowners, we circle with a big green highlighter. This is what you need to focus on. So the total taxes there for this homeowner is $6,248, but they live in the home, so they're receiving the homeowner exemption. If you buy your home from another homeowner, you'll generally see that the homeowner exemption just stays with the property. You have no idea why you're getting it. You didn't fill out any paperwork to do so. You just continue to get it. What we'll see, though, if you bought from an investor that had been renting out the home or had bought it and rehabbed it, people don't realize they'll get their bill and it'll say homeowner exemption 0.
Mm-hmm.
You actually have to apply for it after you've lived in the home for 1 calendar year, starting January 1st, ending on December 31st. And the following year that you'll start getting the homeowner exemption. You only have to apply for that once. But even so, it's our responsibility every year when the yellow bill comes to check to make sure we're getting our homeowner's exemption.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Very important stuff right here. Okay, and the next one. So let's say you're a new homeowner, you missed this presentation, you didn't visit neighborhood housing services, and you just found out, oh my goodness, I was eligible for a homeowner exemption. I didn't apply. Well, you can actually go back 3 years. We allow you to go back 3 years, and it's called a certificate of error. And it's a way to obtain refunds for past exemptions. So right now, you could actually apply for tax years 2020, 2019, and 2018. So if you just learned about the homeowner exemption, you could apply for the past 3 years. And what happens is you apply with the Cook County Assessor's Office, we process the application, let's say we approve it, and then it moves on to the Treasurer's Office, and they're actually the one that sends you a refund check. The total process usually takes a couple of months. It's working with a few different offices. It can be a little confusing and overwhelming at first, but once you do it, it's really simple. And then you can apply during the regular season for your regular homeowner's exemption, and then it automatically renews. You don't have to worry about it anymore. But know that you can go back 3 years. And we see this all the time. John and I were just having a conversation about how common it is that we run into homeowners that had no idea about the exemptions. So then they come to one of us for assistance.
Yeah, so we just had a family that they had bought their home back in 2010, and they were doing a refinance or refi rehab with NHS, and they had never gotten the homeowner exemption. And so we assisted them in applying. It's really easy to do on Cook County Assessor's website. And, you know, what we were doing is uploading a copy of their ID, and the assessor's office can see the year you bought it. And we were able to apply for the 3 years of past tax years where they did not get the homeowner exemption. And process works really well. You upload a copy of your ID that shows that you live there, and the recommended tax bill from Cook County Assessor usually comes within 30 days, and you'll usually get the refund check, one for each year, within 90 days. Cook County Assessor and Cook County Treasurer get those out. I've never seen one be more than 90 days. And then going forward, I know refunds are fun, but then going forward, if your taxes go down by 900 the next year, well, divide that by 12 and you get an idea of how much your mortgage will go down.
Yep, it's true.
And other counties aren't as generous. Other counties in the state, I think you can only go back 1 year. So the yellow bill, look at it closely, make sure you're getting your exemptions each and every year. The bank, your mortgage company, will not look at that for you.
All right, we'll go to the next slide. We won't go too much into depth here, but our office also processes appeals. So as a new homeowner, say it's your first year, you might receive tons of mail about appeals, and their people will try to charge you to file these. If you choose to file an appeal with our office, it is absolutely free. You can do it yourself. You can do it online. You do not need to hire anyone to do it for you. We just want to throw that out there. A lot of homeowners are confused because they get inundated by mail. So just know that this is a free service offered by our office. It is every homeowner's right to choose if they want to file an appeal. But common reasons are a lack of uniformity, overvaluation, incorrect property description. So I'll give you some examples. You feel that we overassessed your property, it's not worth as much, the value that we placed on it. Maybe we put that there's 3 bedrooms when in fact there's only 2 bedrooms. There's some sort of error in the characteristic. Those are different reasons why you would file an appeal.
Yes.
Yeah. And as a new homeowner, and it certainly happened to me, you're very confused because after there's a reassessment, you get all this mail from law firms saying, we'll do it for you, we'll appeal your taxes, and you pay us, half the first year's earnings or a third. I never understood what it was, but these are companies, this is what they do. And some people swear by them, but I always tell people, yes, you can do it yourself. And often Cook County assessor invited by your local alderman will actually do presentations to show you how to do this yourself. So you don't have to pay somebody to do this. And it's free to do.
And you can also find comparable properties too on our website. So everything is free. You don't need an attorney to file an appeal. Oftentimes, I know we only hear to one, but oftentimes people get confused with exemptions and appeals. So exemptions are savings. Appeal is that you're challenging the accuracy of your market value. So they always say, well, I appealed my exemptions. So there's like, they get confused. So exemptions are savings.
Teresa, that also sparked something else, a thought. We often hear that homeowners also get mail about services, companies who apply for their exemptions as well.
Yes.
That's another one. I know a lot of people are confused about that. And again, exemptions are, I didn't say this during the presentation, but it's absolutely free to file exemptions with our office. You can do it online, very simple, as John was describing, or you can do it by paper. And it's all free. You do not need to hire anyone to file your exemptions, and you really don't want to, because it would take a portion of your savings. And Teresa and I and John, we're all here to help. We walk people through this process all the time. It's what we do.
Yes.
Yeah, and to give you a sense, we spend very little time on, if any, helping people with appeals. It really is, we focus on missing exemptions. A homeowner that's not receiving their homeowner exemption, a senior who's not receiving their senior exemption, and most critically, a senior that's not receiving their freeze. That's where we see the most savings, frankly.
And you know what, Angelina, I know we want to go ahead, but I just want to mention that every township, except the 8 that's in the city, has a township assessor who are very helpful. They are the key to your township. I am the liaison with the township assessors in Cook County into our office. So please contact your township assessor as well, and they'll be able to assist your exemption matters and your appeal matters. They are very important and very helpful, resourceful.
And we have their contact information listed actually on our website. If one of our representatives in the chat could drop that in the link in the chat, that would be really helpful. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's a really good point. Township assessors. All right. And so we are here to help you. You can reach us by phone. You can connect with us on social media. We actually do answer all of our direct messages. And we usually answer them within 24 hours. We're really quick about that. You can also email us directly from our website. You can make an appointment for in-person assistance. We have our downtown office, Markham Courthouse, and Skokie. You can also sign up to receive email updates from our office. We send out emails to remind you when to apply for exemptions, when townships are opening for reassessment, when you can file appeals. We send out a lot of useful information. You can actually take out your phone if you have it, if you're watching it, this presentation, and you can scan, or at home, you can scan this QR code and it'll bring up our website, our newsletter sign up, and a bunch of other resources. And I will let John talk a little bit about services offered specifically by NHS. And then we will go into our Q&A portion. Let me just remove that. Okay.
Okay. So I would say, and I'm going to share my screen in a second here and show you some of the horror stories we run into. And we don't want you to be an example of one of these horror stories. But so NHS, we're a not-for-profit organization, been around since the mid-70s. And a lot of people know us because we help someone buy their first home. We help renters prepare themselves to buy their first home. So, and there's our website right there where you can sign up for our 8-hour home buyer education course. So it is offered right now via Zoom, but it is taught by live instructors. So HUD certified housing counselors. And it really goes through every step of the home buying process and how to protect yourself through every step. And those in need can also work one-on-one with a housing counselor. And of course, NHS has lending products specializing in purchase rehab for first-time home buyers. If you look at, I'm going to share my screen and we're going to see if this works. And I'm going to try to keep this short. Okay. So people know that we help first-time home buyers, but they don't realize that the other half of our time is spent with current homeowners, working with them to make sure that their housing costs are as low as possible and, looking for ways to invest in their property. And so, your house payment, your mortgage payment is not just your principal and interest. It's also the cost of homeowners insurance and property taxes. Let's see if I know how to advance this. There we go. Quickly on insurance, we have to know as homeowners what the average cost of homeowners insurance is. In our experience, especially here on the west side of Chicago, if you have your home and auto with the same insurer and you've not filed a claim in the last 3 years, your insurance should be about $1,200 a year. Mm-hmm. For a 2-unit, we see more often $2,000 or less, and for a 3 or 4 unit, somewhere between that $2,000 and $2,500. And here's a horror story. So, homeowner comes in to work with us. His son said, I don't think dad can afford the property anymore. Since mom died, his income's only $1,800 a month in Social Security, but we saw the escrow looked really high, and we said, well, let's look at your taxes and insurance. Looking at his mortgage, he had a great mortgage, 3% fixed, no problems there. And when we asked for his insurance, he says, well, the mortgage company pays my insurance. And this is the same thing I hear with taxes. He couldn't find his insurance policy because he's like, I haven't made a claim in forever. And we looked at the cost of insurance, and he was paying $5,967 for his single family home. And so we said, no. Let's comparison shop. If we get 2 bids and they're all $5,967, I guess that's what it costs. But as we expected, he comparison shopped, and he now pays $1,211. And you'll see the home auto discount there, one of the biggest discounts we see, and then the claim record discount, having not had a claim in the last 3 years. And of course, he canceled his insurance because his mortgage had paid a full year. He canceled it after 3 months into the policy. So he got a check back for almost $4,000. Made him very happy. That's for unearned premium. And look what happened to his mortgage. It went down to $555. I'm going to go through. There's another example where the homeowner was paying $7,300 for her insurance on her 2-unit. And afterwards, she got it down to just under $1,500. And that knocked, and she got a $6,000 refund. Not a bad thing. And her mortgage then went from $1,600 to $1,000. So homeowners exemptions, we really talk about over and over the yellow bill, the second installment that comes in the summertime. And if you're a homeowner and you're not 65 and you haven't owned the home 10 years, this is what your tax bill should look like. You should see the homeowner exemption. Here is an example of a senior in their late 60s. So once you're 65, and so this coming year, anybody born in 1957 can apply for the first time starting in February of this coming year. This past year was 1956. If you're lucky enough to have income, household income above $65,000 in retirement, Cook County does not know when someone turns 65. You fill out one application, and you will get the senior citizen exemption. That's the first discount after the homeowner exemption on the screen. And then you're done. Now, yes, I want you to check it every year to make sure you're getting it every year, but you only have to do that once because you're not going to go from 66 back down to 64, although that would be nice. but I don't think that Cook County assessor can pull that off. Okay. But the most important, if your income as a senior is below 65,000, you apply for the senior freeze, and you also get the senior freeze discount. And so people ask me, Mr. Groney, why are you making a big deal about $137? Well, this is a senior in their late 60s. Here's the bill of a senior in their mid 80s. The senior freeze is a discount that slowly grows as your value goes up. And what I see generally is that your taxes go down over a 20-year period to the point where when I see someone in their early to mid 80s, it will finally hit zero. And so, you know, when property values are increasing and increasing rapidly,
Your values.
I hear a lot of seniors saying, oh, geez, I'm going to have to sell my home. I don't want to sell my home, but I'm not going to be able to afford the taxes. But if you have the senior freeze, that's what you're protected from. Increases in your property taxes due to higher values. If they raise our tax rates, yes, your taxes will go up. And in fact, there was an increase last year, and folks that had the senior freeze, I saw increases of $6, $9. So the senior freeze is incredibly important for keeping low and moderate income seniors in their homes. You are protected from higher taxes forcing you to sell your home. It's not going to happen if you have the senior freeze. The senior freeze you have to apply for each and every year because it's based on your prior year's income.
And John, can I just say that's very important because the senior freeze is designed to offset increases. And so therefore, one of the things, it's gross income as well, too. It's the household income. So we have to definitely state that it's household income. It's not just their income, it's everyone in that household.
That's a good point.
Absolutely. And when we're working with a senior homeowner and they want assistance in filling out the senior freeze application, we insist on seeing their income tax returns, verifying the income we're helping them put in there, because, you know, quite frankly, you know, a percentage of these are audited and we don't want to get anybody in trouble and, you know, have to pay things back. But if you're a homeowner and this is what the second installment comes and it says zero homeowner, zero senior freeze, and you bought your home 2 years ago, you've got some work to do. You're not getting your homeowner discount. And if you want to overpay your taxes, that's great. But if you don't, the other things we talk about, and I'll skip over it, but this is, you know, those companies are going to be knocking on your door saying, switch over to our companies. We're going to save you a bunch of money. And right here on the bill, you'll see to the left, to the right of the circle, it's always going to say ComEd. They own the wires. They got to put them up if there's a storm and they come down. But to the left, for the last 15 years, you could choose any company you want. And they always say they'll save you money. Well, we've already documented over 70 cases on the west side where those companies are charging people double or triple. And right here is an example. When the regulated rate of ComEd was 6.5 cents, they're being charged 15.5 cents. And that was they paid $117 more than they would have with ComEd. And so that's very easy to call and cancel. And this is what you want the bill to look like in terms of where it says, well, here, let's go to this, where it says ComEd is your supplier because everybody is charged the same thing. The last thing this is not cooperating. Okay. The last thing we really focus on is, you know, escrow. You know, once a year, you want to look at that yellow property tax bill. And once a year, as a new homeowner, you're going to get the escrow analysis that says why your payment went up or why your payment went down. If you just really focus on that and focus on your insurance renewals every year, there won't be any surprises on your taxes. And then I'll stop sharing there.
Yeah, can I just say one quick thing is that make sure that you only apply for exemptions on your primary home. Even if you live in the city and you own multiple housing, you want to apply only on your house, that your primary home that you live in. If you have another house in another state, California, Alabama, make sure you apply in the resident in which you live, because what happens is you will be fined for that. And we will find out because the computers, they talk. And those agencies from the other state, they give us a call and ask, um, hey, is John living there? Does he apply for his exemptions in Illinois? So please only apply in the home that you live in.
Wonderful. This is really valuable information. I just learned a lot from you, John, I didn't know that about the utility bills. So this is great resources because, I try to share, Teresa and I both, just when a homeowner comes, we give them everything, every single thing that we know, just tell them, reach out to this organization, ask this org. But I do want to ask you, so if someone's interested in the courses you were talking about, you can find those on the website?
Yeah, so for first-time home buyers, you would go to the www.nhschicago.org and click on Buy the Home, and you can register for classes. For homeowners, if you click on workshops, and you ever see the financial self-defense workshops, that's the workshop in when I go into more detail on cost of insurance, cost of property taxes, cost of gas and electric, the senior sewer service charge exemption for owners of single-family homes, senior owners of single-family homes, all the various ways to save money. So on that website, you can sign up for the home buyer education. You'll see financial fresh start workshops for those struggling with credit. And then the post-purchase workshop, it's called Financial Self-Defense.
Wonderful. Okay, so let's transition into the Q&A. We have quite a few comments here. So the first one is actually for John, I believe. So Timothy says, for first-time home buyers, is a purchase rehab type program a good option?
Yeah, I don't think there's I can say it's a good or a bad option. I think, what we're seeing here on the West Side is if you wait for a developer to renovate a home, and the 2-unit now is going for $450, with a purchase rehab, it's basically, find, a home that is in need it's livable, but it's in need of a lot of renovation, and being able to borrow the money for the rehab. When a purchase rehab loan closes, you've already done a scope of work, you've already chosen a contractor, and at closing, there's nothing is left to chance. The money for the rehab set aside, you've already selected your contractor. And yeah, it's not fun to live through rehab, and most contractors, they all go to the same marketing school. They'll tell you they can do a $100,000 job in 60 days. They cannot. But the idea is the money's held in escrow, and the contractor's paid, his work is done. And, so if it's a $300,000, if it's a $200,000 purchase price and you put $100,000 in it, you've just broke $300,000. Where if you're waiting for the move-in ready, fully renovated house costs you $450, it's, not everybody wants to go through 6 months or a year of rehab, but I've had some clients that did it because they're like, well, this is the only way I could buy in this neighborhood that I want to buy in. So I think it is a good option for first-time home buyers.
Interesting. Okay, next question. What age is the new owner able to receive a senior freeze?
I'll take it.
Okay.
So you must be 65 years old to be a senior freeze. You won't receive it your first year, okay, that you apply, but your second year is when it actually kicks in. Because if you apply this year, we look at your 2020 income. So it's not the first year your savings is actually there. You actually build in a base year for your senior freeze, but you will receive the senior exemption. And as John stated, the senior freeze is designed to offset increases. So if your value goes up, there's savings. So remember, if you lower your value, you lower your savings.
And then she has a follow-up question. Ms. Sheila, do you have to apply for an application for the senior exemption? If so, when should you apply?
So you do have to apply the first time because we don't know when you turn 65. And so when should you apply is that normally the applications are available in February, but because there was a delay, they're a different time. But it's always on our website. And once you apply, you don't have to apply again. It's automatic.
Yeah. So we're
And
accepting
that's the
applications, right?
senior exemption. So if your income's above 65,000, you have
Yes.
to apply that first year,
Yeah.
but you don't have to apply every year after. Your responsibility is to check that second installment yellow bill. But coming up this February or, March, if things are delayed because of COVID, generally for years and years, I just say February, look for the application on the Cook County Assessor website. You can apply. So anybody born in 1957 can apply in February or March of 2023 for the first time.
And lastly, I want to say this too. You can have up to 4 exemptions at one time. You can have the homeowners, the senior freeze, and you could be disabled. So you can have up to 4 exemptions at one time. It's a possibility.
Okay, Ms. Sheila says this information is very informative and makes a difference of understanding. It allows one to actually see pictures of what you were speaking on.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Sheila.
Yes.
All right. Ms. Stella Black says thanks for the info. Sheila says thank you to Hector. Hector is our representative answering questions in the chat box.
Yes.
Okay, let's see. I think that's it. I thought I saw more.
So Angelina, if possible, we can we just go back a little bit about the certificate of errors and how they definitely, can you just explain that a little bit? Because sometimes people.
Yeah.
Okay.
Where is that one? Certificate of error.
Yeah.
And yeah,
important.
there we go.
Yeah.
Here's a certificate of error. We actually have a really useful brochure too on our website. If Hector and Michelle, you could drop that into the link as well.
Yeah.
But she has it right there, Teresa. Yeah, so it explains the whole process. And again, it's for homeowners who are just learning about exemptions. You can go back 3 years. So right now that would be tax year, because we're in tax year 2021 right now. So you could correct a bill for tax year 2020, 2019, and 2018. So let's say you are a homeowner, you owned your house for 4 years, you just found out, so you can go back and fix those past tax bills, potentially getting a refund from the Cook County Treasurer's Office. And then going forward, you apply for the homeowner's exemption or your exemption, and then that automatically renews for the homeowner and senior. Some of them, again, you do have to apply annually, and those are the ones that are usually associated with income eligibility, because you have to prove that your income is still meeting that certain threshold annually. So you could sort of think of it like that. But I know this is a lot of information. Like we said, it's available on our website, so you can always refer back. And again, share this information with friends, family. You can simply share this to your Facebook or YouTube link and let people know.
And Angelina, too, let them know that we're available for outreaches, and if they have events, we can come out and share our presentation. And
yeah, we do a lot of festivals. We do resource events. We also get invited by other agencies to partner, and we have a whole outreach team that travels around the county, and we're constantly partnering. And ever since a lot of things went virtual, we even have more of a reach because we can simply team up like this electronically, and then that can be shared. But we do in person as well. And we also team up with township assessors, with our local aldermen, representatives in the state to also come out to the community. And we host office hours sometimes too at other offices around the county.
Yeah, and I would encourage anyone who, let's say you're about to buy your first home or you just bought your first home. Don't forget about your parents if they're also homeowners in Cook counties. Don't assume that they're aware of the senior exemption, the senior freeze. Really take a look at your parents' tax bills,
Yes.
the cost of your parents' insurance, because they might not be aware of what you're not aware of.
Yeah. That's so true. That is so true. Yeah.
All right, that's pretty much it for the Q&A. And yeah, we're at 50 minutes. We're good. We've had a quite steady amount of viewers. This is great.
That was great. Also, we have our brochures in several different languages as well. So we are here to help. And if you need us, we're open from 8:30 to 5.
Yeah.
And I encourage everybody to use the cookcountyassessor.com website. It's excellent. Once you're on that website and you could click on exemptions, you can learn about the exemptions more in detail, and you could actually click on it and apply for your exemptions and your certificate of errors right from the website, either printing off the applications and mailing it in, or you could actually do it all electronically, DocuSign it, upload copies of your ID. It's really simple.
Well, John, you're looking at one of the developers, is that Angelina of that website. So all that beautification and all those gadgets in there, that's Angelina. That's my director. That's her work. That's what she does.
Thank you, Angelina. No, it's wonderful.
Thank you. We're always trying to improve it. And actually, NHS has helped us before on having people give input on what needs to could be a little bit more user friendly.
Yeah. And I think it's excellent because you can both do it all electronically, upload a copy of your ID, submit it electronically, but you still have the option to print out the paper ID, make a copy of your ID, fill out the income or the occupancy affidavit, and mail it in. Just keep a copy for yourself before you mail it in, and mail it in. So yeah, it's a wonderful improvement on the website being able to do both.
Well, thank you all.
Yeah, thank you very much, and have a good afternoon.
Thank you all. Thanks for being here.
All right, bye.
All right.
Have a good one.